been linked with Telemans, we've been linked with Vlahovic. I'll say them names first. Where are you at with Telemans and Vlahovic? Two positions we need.
Tillemans, I just don't think we'll get him for any like sort of value because of the fact that he's coming from Leicester. They don't need to sell. They will still, maybe not this season. They're sitting in 10th of an awful season, but they will certainly next season be viewing us as rivals in a way for European spots. So I don't think he's a realistic signing personally, unless he forces the move. But he's one hell of a player. I'd be very, very happy with Tillemans in our team. I think he's a really good player. Then there's also Bruno Guimaraes that we've been linked with as well. So, and then there's Arta from Juve as well. For me, out of the three is Guimaraes that I would like, because I think that gives us, in a way, actually, I'd say if they were all the same money, it would be Tillemans, because I think he's a quality player and he's got that Premier League experience. But I think on balance, being realistic and also leaving some money for further reinforcements, I'd say Guimaraes. In terms of Vlahovic, that would be one hell of a marquee signing. And I feel like if we do that, we don't do anything else. My priority would be a midfielder. But if we do go and get Vlahovic, I'll be, buzzing. I'll be absolutely buzzing, because that's a real statement signing. What that speaks to me as, if we go and get Vlahovic, is that we believe we can get top four, and we believe this sort of move in a January transfer window will secure it for us. So that shows ambition. Yeah. Contrary to what Edu said at the start of the season in terms of where you see Arsenal finishing and he wouldn't give anything, this is a statement of intent. And I don't think you do this if you're 10th trying to get 8th. Do you know what I mean? You do this when it matters.
And I'm agreeing with you, and I think that's when that's one thing I'll give Arsenal, maybe not from a sporting point of view, but when it comes to transfers, like at the start they were saying Vlahovic don't want to sign, and I don't know if he does or don't want to sign, but because of the aggression, it just felt beneath the whole media stuff and those that actually are in the know and whatnot, there has to be some sort of encouragement. Now there's going to be big pressure, as you said. It's difficult to sign someone, let alone thrive in a team mid-January. There's going to be expectations. We're already lacking in terms of goals. We're going to want a lot now. If Arteta wants him, and Arteta, forget goals for a sec, says this is the man for the pressing and the final piece to my puzzle, fair play. For me, I'm with you in the sense of Vlahovic is great, he's amazing, but we're never going to see, in my opinion, our attackers go to that next level, our defense go to that next level until that midfield is properly adjusted. It goes back to the point about Gabriel and Ben White. They're always stepping into midfield to the point where you look at the Premier League for passes, they've played the most passes. You have to go, it's probably Xhaka in midfield, but you have to go a bit down to find a midfielder. Now, I'm sure if at that City, you would see their centre halves as well as their midfield. You probably would see the same with Liverpool. There's not really a correlation. Goals win games, but for me, you need a centre mid, and I don't really understand. Not that I don't understand letting Maitland-Niles go on loan. We've spoken about him, but just the timing of it. You haven't confirmed. We're already down to our bare bones. You haven't confirmed someone in. Why are you going to let him go out to the point where someone you said slow cooking in Charlie, you're having to throw him to the wolves, basically?
I read a little quote about that. I think Arteta was asked about the Maitland-Niles thing. Could you have delayed it? And from what I remember, he spoke about. It was very subtle, but there was one line in there that made me think perhaps Nketiah, where he is, he's if mentally you're in Rome, then you have to go.
Yeah,
you can't just say, just play one more game for us and then go. How are you going to challenge for the ball? How are you really going to give it your all if you're already thinking about, Do
you question professionalism then? Sorry to cut you then, if that's the case.
No, I think this is quite natural. I think it's not a professional thing to do to sort of like mix the two. It should be a case of you don't dangle it out there for someone and they're already planning getting to Rome and what apartment they're going to stay in and this and that and what flight they're getting on.
Lifestyle and then things,
last game. I don't think the concentration there. So I think it's quite natural. I'm sure Maitland-Niles, if he was asked to do that, he would have done it to the best of his ability. But I don't think that's the level of preparation that you should be having for games. I think what we would have seen is him being subbed off after 35 minutes as well, a flipping double substitution, if that is the case. So, yeah, I just kind of feel like maybe we should have made it clear right from the outset so that you don't get that confusion in Maitland-Niles' mind that you'll go after this game. And then that way he's focused, and integrated with the team a little bit. But, it is what it is. It's funny, though, because with him, we could have put him at right back or central midfield, two areas that were kind of lacking, and obviously we've let him go. But all the best for him in Roma. Interestingly, though, his first game was against Juventus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Didn't have the best of debuts. The whole team struggled, really. But
the whole team, yeah, where Mourinho said psychological collapse. That's what he accused his team of. Psychological collapse. 3-1 up after 70 minutes at home, and they go and lose 4-3.
And a missed pen.
I hate the fact that Maitland-Niles was part of that, but makes me happy to see Mourinho suffer that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing. And the thing is, for me, I want Maitland-Niles to have the best loan spell he potentially can, secure a move to Roma, maybe convince Arteta you can get a chance. It made me look at the Arteta Maitland-Niles thing a bit differently as well, bro, in a sense of, I don't know where Arteta really sees you, because I don't think he sees you as the second choice right back. For me, it looks like it's Cedric. Obviously Ben White's come in there, but it looks like out of the guys that are just right backs and not centre halves, I think you're not that. In midfield, quite rightly so, I think you could be a squad player. I don't think you're the guy. So it made me think, okay, cool. Something needs to change. How really are we now looking at it? Where are you at with Eddie Nketiah as well? Because I don't understand why he started against Nottingham Forest. I get why, but I think it should have been Lacazette. And it just feels like we're still trying to convince a player who, as much as I like him, I mean, this is Arsenal Football Club. We should never be in this situation. Like, let the man go.
You know what I'm like, DG? When it comes to the Highlanders, I give them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And Nketiah, I watched him in the youth team. He was clinical. He really looked like a baller to me. I fully expected him to make it. I really did. And I will be very happy repeatedly to talk about how I was wrong, because I had so much belief in him. Same. And even in the past, when he hasn't performed very well, I've come to his defense and I've been slated in comments. People saying to me, like, he's just not Arsenal potential, get over it, that sort of thing. But I thought there's a player in there. And unfortunately now there's been enough opportunities, and it appears as though when I see the flashes to vindicate my prior belief, those flashes are too fair weather. He's not doing it when it really, really matters. Really difficult. So I'm thinking, maybe you've certainly got the ability. You can do what you want to do with your feet and find the corners when you want to find them. But when the tough moments come, are you the man then? And the Premier League is tough. FA Cup, away games against lower league opposition, that is tough when your whole team is playing awful. So are you able to lead that line up top in the tough moments? And I think it's that's come to my conclusion now, where I feel like, maybe that's what's holding him back. Not ability, but it's just that real inner toughness to make it work when it's difficult. So I feel bad saying it, but almost feel like maybe he's not the guy. And then when you talk about Nketiah, you talk about Balogun. He's obviously gone off to Middlesbrough, and I'm going to be watching that with huge interest, because Middlesbrough, I'm just going to pull up the league table of the Championship. Yeah,
going and playing under Chris Wilder. We wanted him at Sheffield, so I hope it works out for him.
Yeah, Middlesbrough is 7th in the league. They have got 39 points. That's 1 point off playoff places. Huddersfield are on 40 points. So they're 1 point behind Huddersfield. They've got one game in hand over Huddersfield. And the rest of the playoffs, it's a bit of a mixed bag. But the point is, they're on the cusp of that playoff place. Now, when I look at the league table and you look at every single team ahead of Middlesbrough in the league, Middlesbrough have got 29 goals in 25 games. Every other team ahead of them in the league has scored more goals than that. In fact, there's teams further down in the league that have got more goals or as many goals as Middlesbrough. Goals are the problem at Middlesbrough. And when I look at their top scorers,